When you get older, you might notice that your body doesn't quite work the way it used to. Your eyes are no exception. Today, we're going to talk about bifocals and all the different ways we use them. This is the crystalline lens, and the crystalline lens, when you're young, it does what's called accommodation. So what that does is it will change shape as you look from distance to near, and it almost acts like an auto zoom feature on a camera. Now, as you get older, this loses its flexibility and it accommodates less. So what the add power does is offsets the amount of accommodation that you've lost so that you can continue to see up close. How are add powers decided? There's a couple of ways. So there's a lazy way and the right way, and they both look exactly the same on a piece of paper. So you're not entirely sure if the add power that you're looking at was gotten about the lazy way or the right way. So here's the lazy way. How old are you? Based on your age and the range of ages, they just pick an add power based on your age range. So if you're between 40 and 45, it's probably 1.25. If you're about 50, it's probably about a plus 175 or a 2. And if you're 55 plus, it's 250. If you're 60, 62 plus, it's probably a plus 275 or 3. That's the lazy way. Now, the appropriate way would be more done via similar to how you do an eye exam with the 1 and the 2. You would hold reading material about 16 inches away, and they would try different add powers and see which add power works best for you individually rather than just kind of throwing you into a group based on your age. Can you use a higher powered bifocal? The question is, what do you want it for? So if you have some kind of trade need, or if you say you examine coins or do something like that, and that's your job, you may benefit from an add power that's drastically stronger than you would need if you were, say, a hobby reader. Now, the thing is with add powers is as you do a stronger add power, your focal distance decreases. So say my add would normally be a +2. If you do a +4 or a +6, you would need to bring the thing you're looking at much, much closer to be able to see it. So that is one. So while higher add powers are practical and easy to prescribe, it is important to recognize the functionality that the patient or you would need to hold your work closer to you to see. What add powers do is they are focused for you to read at about 16 inches. So 16 inches is about this far, and 16 inches is not necessarily comfortable for everybody. So if you're somebody who works extensively on computers, you may benefit from a lower add power that's set up for a deeper focal length. That's all possible, though it's not, I would say, a kind of standard practice in the eye exam. It's not standard questions in an eye exam, but 100% it is possible. It's also possible to, if you know that the reading distance was set for 16 inches, it's possible to create a different add power for intermediate use or computer use. But similar to how if you make it way stronger, you have to hold the things way closer. If you make it weaker, you do need to hold the stuff further away. And some people it might go past where your arm can actually reach, which is probably why you ended up with bifocals in the first place. So there's all kinds of different types of bifocals, and just when we say bifocal, bi means 2, but I think it's probably best to consider multifocals. So there's all kinds of different multifocals, and they all act in slightly different ways, so we'll just talk about the whole family of multifocals. And we'll start with bifocals. So bifocals are literally that. You have 2 focus points. So on this, you would have the distance, and then this would be your near or your add power. Same with this. So this would be your add, this would be your distance. Now, how do you use that? is when you're looking distance, you would look through here. And then when you want to see something near, you would look through the bifocal. Now, the bifocal is set at a very specific distance. So if you want to look at that distance, you might need to move what you're looking at to a distance appropriate that you're looking through the bifocal. Now, as you get older and your accommodation is further impaired, that's when something like a trifocal comes in handy. Now, the trifocal, what the trifocal has is distance on the top, near at the add, and then this area is kind of a mid-zone that's about half of the add power. So what that gives you is 3 different spots to look through and 3 different focal points. So those are the multifocals with kind of fixed focal points. Now, the other type of lens that's kind of the most popular form of multifocal at this point is a progressive addition lens. And what the progressive addition lens looks like is, rather than it being a fixed optic, so you have distance and then you have mid and then you have near, basically the whole thing goes progressively from distance to near. And what would happen is, if you have something at a certain distance, you can tip your head till you find the perfect focus for you. So this power increases gradually from the distance down through the near. Now, in progressive addition lenses, there are thousands and thousands of different designs, and every single one claims to be the very best design. And they're all right for certain people, and we don't know who responds best to what. But if you are somebody who has been wearing a progressive addition lens, do be aware that there's thousands of different variations. And if you've been wearing one, that doesn't mean that any old progressive lens would be useful for you. Because what may happen is you adapt to one design, and then if they change the design, it kind of throws you for a loop because you're used to one thing, and now they're throwing another at you. So if you're somebody who, say you're, most of your life is between 30 inches and 12 inches, what we can do is modify the progressive, and we can really do that with any one of these glasses, is rather than making it distance at the top and then near at the bottom, we can set the top of the lens so that it's set for an intermediate distance. So say you use computers all the time, what we can do is we can make this so that it's 30 inches here and then 12 inches here. And we really have a lot of flexibility with how we can design lenses for specific tasks and your career.